Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Critical Failure. I'm Brandon Wynn,
I'm Edward Burns.
and I already said welcome back to Critical Failure. So let's get right into it. We have no idea because I didn't tell Ed what the fuck we're doing, but we're going to talk about basic things in homebrew world building that we would like to see in the future in terms of like campaigns or one shots that we have thought about running or possibly want to run in the future. I know there's some things about Curse of Strahd I want to talk about. Did you have anything before I started?
Are you just talking about like what we would do in our own games? Or
Yeah,
our own
things
world?
that you would like to do in your own worlds or see in other people's worlds without you having to bring it up. Like,
Oh, so
nice
like
things.
if I was just a player and
Yeah, things that you
okay.
would like to see.
You can go ahead and start off.
One thing that I'm introducing in Curse of Strahd that no one knows so far is weapons being able to break.
Oh, I like that. I thought about doing a mechanic like that. For me, I thought this way you could make use of the smith skills. But I thought like if you rolled a natural 1, you could take like a -1 to the weapon, and if you reach like a -3, the weapon or armor would break.
See, what I'm doing is very similar. Basically, you have three circles at the top left of your sheet, and the circles are marked in pen, and each weapon has, like, for how many weapons you have, you write it next to it. Even magical weapons will have a marker. Magic weapons will have 5, and each critical one you have with that weapon,
Yeah.
you mark an X in pencil.
For me, I figured like if it was a magic weapon, like let's say a +1 magic weapon, it would take a total of 4 because you'd have to get all the way down to
Yeah.
-3.
I think it would be a nice thing to do because in Curse of Strahd, you only have 3 major smithies, and basically I was going to have it to where almost no one that I know of was going to be able to do that. It's not really something that we think of in terms of characters.
Yeah, it depends on what character gets picked. Like if there's an artificer,
Artificer.
yeah, depending on how you want
XP to level 3.
to pronounce it. But
Artificer.
like Prescott would probably play that type of character because he always likes creating things.
Yeah, and if I'm correct, the guy that can help you is an Artificer, or he's a ranger. I'm not too sure. I haven't read Curse of Strahd in a good bit.
Yeah, I don't really know much about Chris Rock.
Which I'm glad. But I think weapon durability is a huge thing. I know that sometimes I'm like, that would break my fucking weapon, and carrying so many weapons. So I was going to have it to where your guys' weapons are really good compared to the ones that you get. So when you go to attack with these weapons, are really good. And so they'll break, and you're like, well, shit. And then you go to use their weapons, and you're like, wow, these don't do nearly as much damage because they're old, they're rusted, and you're like, god damn. So you have to try and recreate it.
I think that's cool. Like if you're gonna do like old rusty weapon, I could see you just like bringing down the die by like half. Like if it was a D8, you bring it down to a D4. If it's a D4, like a dagger, you just simply half the damage. So like a high amount of damage for a rusty dagger would be like 2 points, or the low would be a 1.
And that's what I was kind of doing, and you'd have to collect all these weapons just to repair your weapon because it's like we don't have the materials. So
That made me think of Fallout. Like,
Yeah, it's
3 New
basically
Vegas.
what I
It
was
like
thinking.
you just have 7 swords, and it's like the sword I really like is degrading. Let me just break down and like screw those parts onto this sword, and now it's perfectly fine.
But you have to go to a smithy that'll melt down and do that, and that's one thing that I was kind of doing. But you'd have to go to specific smiths just to get the magic weapons repaired, and it was going to cost gold and the materials.
Oh yeah, because you need like more experience,
Yeah,
more expertise in that sort of thing. Because there's no way I would see like a regular old smith being able to fix like a magical item without the knowledge of magic in their background.
Yeah, it is definitely difficult because you don't know what you're doing if you're just a regular smith messing around with a magic weapon. Like, the magic imbued within is different, arcane wise, and probably physically.
Yeah, it'd probably have an effect on the weapon
Yeah.
itself. Just like in Skyrim, you can't upgrade magic weapons until you get a certain perk, and then you can start smithing
Exactly.
up the magic items.
Exactly. That's a very good way to bring it, give a comparison. But other than that, do you have anything for things that you would like to see?
For me, I was thinking about adding like more technology-based stuff in Mizran. I thought it'd be cool to see like ACPs and stuff like that pop up. Like certain factions would be more technologically advanced, and I don't really want to say like who because I haven't actually ran Mizran, but I have like a lot of things I've been thinking about Mizran, and that's one of the things I want to do. And it's more, I guess you say like Eberron, where it's like magic and science fused together.
That makes me get reminded of when I was trying to run Eberron for that one time where Prescott was playing as Longhorn or whatever his name was, the fucking Minotaur, Buffalo Bill, and he was like, "I'm assuming this place doesn't have like running water or anything." I was like, "No, it has like a television, it has a fridge." Like, I didn't say that, and he's like, "What?" And then he was like, "I'm gonna go take a shower," and I was like, "Okay."
I think it'd be cool to also play a game kind of like with the look and feel of like Final Fantasy VII, because I always thought it was cool, and I've only recently just started playing it. But I like the look of the game setting.
Yeah, I completely like that. Like, there's still swords, there's magic, but there's technology.
Yeah, and I know like Prescott loves guns.
So it's like,
if I have guns or something like that in it, he's just gonna have a field day.
Yeah, I don't like, and the only way that I can imagine him having a burst weapon is later on, but it deals low damage. So like
yeah, I was thinking like a
burst,
D4 or something.
Yeah,
like
D4.
maybe like 3D4 just
for
to
like a 3 burst.
Yeah, just to show.
And you have to roll per shot. See, that makes sense. I really do enjoy something like that, because then it's just like it brings out that flavor of you have to make sure those shots count, and you have to make sure that you're in a thing. One thing that I have been thinking about is your. You know what? Let's finish before I get to mine. Let's finish where you were at, because I feel kind of rude doing that. Because it involved the gun. But he could, if he decides to go prone, he might have advantage on shooting something with a closer stat.
Oh, yeah, like if he had like a sniper or something and then he lay down.
Yeah. He'd have a more stable shot, so he'd get like a +1 or 2 to his attack roll, while if he's standing up, he'd have a normal attack roll or something like that.
Yeah, because in the first major game I ran, I actually took some inspiration from Starfinder, because they had some cool rules, because they actually have guns, magic, and melee and whatnot. There was one, and I forget the exact name of it, but basically you can unload your entire magazine, and it's for like automatic weapons or something, and you can shoot every target that's in that area at least once, but for every target it takes like 2 pieces of ammunition or something, and you only hit the target once, and that's your action. And I thought that was a really cool feature, and I let him do that in the game with his dual wielded like revolvers that he had at
the
first.
Blasters, the hand cannons.
It was before the hand cannon. It was just a regular revolver.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was with his hand cannons, but did you have anything else for that, like for that one?
For guns, no. I'd like to see more like energy weapons, just because like I like stuff like that. Like I like lightsabers and
weapons
whatnot.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, or just.
I remember
just
you made the
magical
arcane railway rifle, basically.
Oh yeah, it was,
where
it was a Gauss rifle, basically.
And he tried shooting fucking cabbages, which ended up being Bahamut.
Yeah.
And he shot this pure arcane shot, which basically, in my head...
It had a recharge, too. It wasn't something you'd use very often. It was like once, I think a couple days, because it would gather the natural arcane energy around and slowly charge up the crystals that it had inside it. And it dealt like, I think 40-12 damage or something.
I didn't know that, but I remember...
I remember when I designed it, it was pretty powerful.
I imagine it looking like the Gauss rifle from Fallout.
Yeah, that's what I took inspiration from. And I imagined when it shot, it was kind of like this, kind of like bluish white arcane energy.
That's what I was thinking. It looked exactly like the bolt in my head from Fallout 3.
Yeah,
so it was like inspiration. So that's what I imagined, and I remember him shooting it at Bahamut, and
he just held it because he was a god, and
we didn't
Prescott
know
didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I made a joke that he was Bahamut on several occasions around that theater.
Originally, he was not. He was just a reference to Avatar.
My cabbages!
Yeah, that was his character.
I remember loving his character. Prescott hated his character.
Yeah, Prescott wanted him to die so much.
I loved his character.
But, yeah, I just like to see things like that. And I like to see more fantastical elements thrown in. Because a lot of times our settings are kind of like more low fantasy instead of like high fantasy.
I really would like to do high fantasy type of stuff because of Prescott, he's more of the low fantasy, real life type of stuff. And I can't blame him. Some people are like that. I would like to do like high fantasy, like floating fucking cities, fucking giants walking around with their dicks like everywhere. Like I want to do stuff like that. Like that's really cool where I can get lost and imagine fairies fucking everywhere. That'd be cool.
Since we've been playing, something I've always wanted to do as a character is to be like a dragon rider. Because I read through the Aragon novels and I loved all 4 of the books, if I recall correctly. And I just wanted to do that. I've only done it once. But there was almost a second time because I had an egg, and I was like, I am going to raise this,
I remember.
and this is going to be my dragon. I don't care if it takes my character a long time. I'm going to become friends with this dragon.
And that would be amazing.
And that's not even just, it's not for power gaming or anything.
It's just for the
cool.
role playing.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I really want like that gazer, because you couldn't do it, but I would like the gazer because I think it'd be really cool that if I taught it, because I made it a language for blood hunters called blood speech. We made so many gang references on that, but we were just talking about making that language, and I was going to teach Wesley's character blood speech, but I don't think it's going to be that fast because it takes, 40 days just to learn a language in the game or something like that?
I cannot recall off the top of my head. There's probably rules for it. It takes a long time to learn any new skill, and it costs normally quite a bit of gold.
Yeah, and he's not giving me gold, and we're not doing it actively.
Yeah.
And I was going to teach the gazer it just so we could speak to each other and basically code. And I thought it'd be really cool to do that, like having my own little thing that I could like have like my own little thing, because like I said that like twice now, but you made Kip, I made Pat. We always have some sort of mascot in our campaigns.
But I made Pat too because I was the vampire that turned him into it.
You accidentally made Pat. I gave the heart and soul to Pat.
Yeah, Pat was fantastic.
Pat was this undead goblin.
Yeah, and he was so great, even though all he did was like screech. But he had so much character just through screeching and not really doing anything but being like amusing, that I think you or Wesley used a wish to resurrect him when he actually died.
It was me, because Wesley wished for the +3 katana sword that does.
If you got a crit or something, you like cut off a limb or something ridiculous.
And my character was like, because I was running the campaign, I was playing Aeon, and I was just like, I love this character so fucking much, I don't want it to die.
Yeah.
Wish spell.
I kind of wish that the wish spell didn't like appear in the game, because for my character, it like literally took away like my major plot.
Yeah,
like,
I gave you your wife back.
Yeah, because my character's wife died, and I was trying to figure out a way to bring her back.
I was expecting it to be like, I can't blame yours. Wesley's like, I kind of expected it to be done better, but I came up with the Death Knight type of thing with you to where he's gonna get fucking ridden on by this Death Knight.
Oh yeah, because we were talking about that. Because I saw a video and I was like, that's really cool.
I remember eventually, like a month later, I saw the same video.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, you should totally do that. Just
to fuck with him.
Yeah,
and, like,
some powerful creature
that
you took that powerful creature's weapon, and it's gonna come for you.
Yeah, like
because we were low level ish.
Yeah, we were like level 7 at the time. Like he had no business having that sword, and he rolled crits like a motherfucker at the time. So him having that weapon really amped up the damage. And like Pat was such an awesome little guy that I remember he like went into like the dungeon, and like I remember this is when I was trying to come up with the Key-10, sorry. And the Key-10 was this like this new devil that or
you're talking about like the various like flesh bits sewn together.
Yeah, and it basically was going to be made in 3 levels. One was like flesh, one was more bone, and the last one was like pure bone. And it was going to be basically like a scorpion made out of humans and shit like that, or humanoid creatures.
Yeah, I remember it.
And it was going to be used in either the Abyss or the Nine Hells. I don't remember which, but I remember trying to come up with it, posted it on on our Instagram, I should say. And it was like this really cool creature I had come up with. It's in the homebrew things that we made, and I really enjoyed it. I don't remember.
I don't think we fought it because
it was already dead.
Yeah.
I had it to where it was already dead, and this was supposed to be the first instance where you saw something like this. And I was gonna have you guys face an army of them, like two or three, because they were pretty powerful. 2 or 3 of them later on, while you guys were fighting the big bad evil guy, and you guys faced that Balor. And I remember he was just simply to be in the way for a second. And Wesley later on was like, you didn't use the ability to where he burst into a thing of flames. And I was like, I run the game, bitch. Like, you think?
Yeah, I would have definitely died from that.
Yeah, because I remember you were almost unconscious, if not already unconscious.
You know, I was very close to dying because it was just me and him at first. And I was like, I'm probably going to die, but my character would fight this creature.
And my character couldn't go in the city because I made it to where any lycanthrope characters in the area
went mad.
They went mad, and they couldn't control themselves, and all the were-rats, all the were-tigers, all the were-bears, every were-creature, even the were-fish, all just went mad and like would attack people. And like this place was known for being a haven to creatures like that. There was a giant,
Yeah, it was like a monster city, like a lot of various things. There's even vampires there, and I was like, cool, I can actually talk to people because my character was a vampire.
And this is when we were the Order of Leviticus, and we were friends. I was a Order of the Lycanthrope Fire Genasi, to where my character was this gigantic ass fire wolf, which I thought was really cool. You thought it was a cool idea.
I helped come up with the concept because you were debating on either being that or like a gnome or something, and you just turned into a were-chihuahua.
Yeah, and I remember I was trying to make that character later on, and I thought it'd be so fucking cool to do that, and like I would change my fire colors all the time.
Yeah, and I was just like, just imagine a werewolf constantly on fire, and we were like, that's really dope.
Yeah, and I was like, yes, we're doing that. And I remember we went into the thing, and you guys were like, it was an arena, and you were like, where the fuck is Aeon? And basilisks appear, and then after you defeat the basilisk, there I am.
Man, I forgot we fought those.
Yeah, because Wesley almost went fucking down, because he was like, I'm gonna look in the eyes, and he's like, oh fuck, and he saved. But I remember it was your character was, if I'm correct, it was your character had to fight me. Or it was Wesley's character, and one of you guys intervened, and you were like, get fucking Aeon out of here. I think it was you. And you got me out the city, and I was just like, what the fuck happened? And you were like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Why are you being a dick? And I was just like, what? And I was running the game, but it was like, I thought it was a really cool plot point where it's like, what the fuck? And that's how that involved the Battle Lord who took over the court wizard, if I'm correct, or something like that. The mayor or something.
It was like the person running the town.
Yeah, he ran the town, and he was basically the Battle Lord who was trying to take over the entire fucking country like fucking demons do. And call it basic as fuck, but it actually was pretty fun.
Because like the game was basically like demons were taking over like high positions of power to rule the country or whatever, because Wesley's character was actually a prince or something in his family.
Ember. And that's where you got the world for Ember Shard, where we were playing our campaign in. And it was really fucking cool. I really enjoyed that campaign, even though Wesley didn't necessarily have much fun because I railroaded him. But
I mean, we did pretty much whatever we wanted.
Yeah, it's not like I constricted us really badly, but I enjoyed it because I drew maps. I would draw maps in front of you, and I would like hide traps and shit, and I would try to hide it and stuff like that. And I found it really cool. And you guys always fucking dodge my traps. But I actually genuinely tried coming up with world building. And Wesley was always like, hold the phone this way. Is this thing or this? And I was like, shut the fuck up and just move your character where.
Honestly, though, I could understand that because he was playing through
through a phone, so I got that. But it was just at the time, it was tedious because I'm the one DMing, also having to come up with camera angles. So it was very hard for me. But I really enjoyed that campaign. One thing that I would like to include or see is battleground positioning. So say your character's right in front of me, right? And depending on how you're facing me, depends on how well you can attack. So say I'm behind you, right, trying to attack you, and you're trying to like parry or something like that, depends on the positive or negative modifier to that. So say I'm behind you and you're going for a reaction to parry. You don't know I'm there, so how would you know I'm like trying to attack you, right?
So what you could do with that is just have advantage on the attack roll. It kind of sounds like
or you could
sneak attack.
Yeah.
But instead of the enemy not knowing you're there, he knows you're there. He just doesn't have time. So I was going to say a minus.
I was going to say a minus to the roll to react. So it's like you have to roll.
You could just do a minus to the AC.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. Like a positive to AC or a minus to the roll. That way he deflects in time or something like that. That's what I want to do. Or if you're prone and you're a ranged character, depends on how accurately you do stuff.
If a character's prone and you're doing a range attack, I think it's disadvantage because they're laying down.
I was talking about like the sniper rifle. The bow, if you're crouched, you're shooting, or say you're on your knee and you're attacking someone up above, you're going to have less leverage with that attack compared to the dude crashing down with his weight. You're pushing forward, he's pushing forward, but you have that leverage going back down. You'd have disadvantage with that because we don't really bring up like battle positioning like that. But
if it's prone or something like that, generally it's just disadvantage or advantage.
Yeah,
like
advantage
if they're prone, you can actually have advantage on melee attacks against them because they're laying there. They're not going to be able to stop you from just beating them to death.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to do, see stuff like that.
Yeah, we can throw that in. It's just not very often we have a prone target or something like that.
Yeah, and we typically just straight off, for player characters, once we hit 0, we're unconscious. We tend to kill characters once they hit 0. or creatures when they hit 0 in our
Oh,
campaigns.
well, yeah, if it's just an enemy, we just assume that they're automatically dead
Yeah.
once you do the finish thing. Because we're not going to sit there and, like, roll death saves or
Yeah.
unimportant characters like that.
Yeah, and we just automatically assume they're dead. I don't have anything past that one because I've been really having that one.
For homebrew,
I
I always like weapons or items that fit a character's theme or aesthetic, you know? Like with your character, Kylan Ball, you had like this whole black emo-ish setup, and then you wanted to turn the Bone Devil into armor, so I tried to go with that look.
Yeah, and I made like Bone Devil armor, which was so badass in my head that like the skull would come down
Yeah.
and like it gave me a +2 to intimidation checks. I had like the bones interlaced, it had bracers, it had spikes on the shoulders, and like it was so fucking awesome in my head. And like even though I still gracefully fell, I still had the flowing hair because
Oh yeah, because
anime.
I made a joke about it, like because you rolled really high in your acrobatics or something, and I was like, yeah, and you slowly fall with like the anime style of your hair slowly blowing through the wind and whatnot.
Yeah. And it just became a running gag from then on. Stuff like that can be funny nuances or really cool nuances, because like even though it was nothing to the other guys, like that made me feel happy inside when it's like I'm gonna roll for anime hair and it's like okay, and then I roll really well, it's like yeah, it's like that's awesome. And then other people have their own things, like Prescott murder hoboing.
Yeah, but like I don't know about you, but when someone gives me like gear and they describe it in a weird way, if don't really envision my character looking like that, I'll probably just keep envisioning my original concept in my head. That's me. I don't know if anyone else does that.
I think it would be really nice to let the characters describe what they have from now on, like how their sword looks, how they want the sword to look when they're buying this magic weapon, because they want it, instead of just saying, yeah, it looks like this. Or
yeah, but it also looks that comes off very weird if you're just looting or you're buying from a store, because it's not like you're going to be like, and this is what it looks like.
yeah, I'm saying like, say you're customly creating something like that format. Another thing that I would like to do actually is crafting.
Oh yeah,
Because you've seen some of the potions that I've come up with. Like I'm trying to include in Curse of Strahd a crafting thing similar to Fallout, to where you have to get all these ingredients and just make stuff. Like I made like a potion of invisibility or something like that needed such and such things, like a zombie eye or something like that, one thing and another, zombie blood and one thing and another. And like you're like, oh, why zombie blood or something? And I was like, just because it deals with necrotic, and I feel like that is invisibility, like it's a dark type of thing.
Yeah, which when it comes to crafting and stuff, it's always going to be weird because of the ingredients and stuff, and it's just like, why does it work? I don't know.
Yeah, and I was thinking of coming up with that because we don't really do that. We just kind of find potions or buy potions.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about crafting them, and like you have to do it because remember when we would make potions, like healing potions, just up the ass between either you and me or Prescott, and I don't remember which. I think it was.
I made a lot of potions.
Yeah.
Because normally I always take alchemy, like an alchemist kit or something, or poisoner's kit, because I like the idea of making that. But normally it doesn't really come up because whoever's DMing is just, it's not going to really pop up or
yeah, we don't do that.
off. Which is fine. I just want to make whatever it is. It doesn't need to be a whole process, but like I'd like to do the basic thing.
And that goes into my blood hunter now, since he has proficiency in alchemist supplies. He was going to, because he drains blood from victims, like he takes samples, he was going to blend them together and make basically a blood healing potion out of it. So for his character to ingest, that we talked about, and how it'll do a D4 health instead of 2D4, and like he doesn't get a constitution modifier, he just rolls and that's his health. I thought that would be really cool, and you agreed with it. You said that it rolled with the character because my character is a blood hunter.
Yeah,
like.
we keep joking that he's blood boy.
Yeah, and like we make jokes that my character gets aroused to that shit for some reason, but I thought it was a really cool idea. You thought it was a really cool idea. None of the other characters thought it was a cool idea, so, or they even know. So I was just gonna randomly just be there. They were gonna see me pop open this thing and just drink blood, and like Prescott's character.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure they think that was perfectly normal for you because you just have so many vials of blood.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'd pop it open and drink it, but I think that we need to finish the video. It's at 25 minutes.
Yeah, this is a long video.
Thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe as we bring you more D&D content in the future. Comment down below what you'd like to see from us, and hopefully Ed will be in more videos here shortly. I think you are on your normal schedule starting next week.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it might be. I'll find out probably like later today.
Okay, that should be decent. Please hit the bell notification button as we do bring you more content in the future. Uh, we got to talk about the miniature giveaway between you and I. Probably will record that just for something. And thank you guys for watching. I've been Brandon. I am Brandon Wynn,
I'm Edward Burns.
and this has been Critical Failure. See ya. I've been Brandon Wynn. That's a new one.